You must go back for 4 years ago. Remember that day. Remember the disappointment. Remember the heartbreak. Remember how close we were to actually pulling it off. That President Trump had legitimately won the 2020 election, and they could not legitimately certify the usurper.
So that is Steve Bannon being honest and then reverting back to the lie, to the narrative. So he experiences January 6th. And for him, it's a sad occasion, not because America crossed a line that they should have never crossed, a number of lines. Obviously, the Capitol should have never been besieged. We should have never had cops being literally bludgeoned to death while protecting our elected officials. But we also never should have had a president and a political party and a media apparatus spend months lying to people knowingly about the results of an election. And of course, Steve Bannon was a part of that. Those were all sad moments. That's not the sad moment from the point of view of Steve Bannon. What is sad from him is we almost did it. We almost succeeded in stealing an election. Donald Trump was such a failure as a president, as a candidate, that he once again couldn't get enough people to vote for him, but it didn't matter. We turned to violence, which we would prefer anyway, and we almost got it done. We almost got in there and killed Mike Pence. We almost maybe killed a bunch of Democratic Congress people, and we almost succeeded in our coup. Sorry, I mean, the usurper was almost rejected, and Trump will almost. Steve Bannon knows. He knows 100% that Donald Trump lost. He just doesn't care about you. If you're a MAGA conservative out there, he has negative respect for you. This dude, and by the way, I shouldn't need to convince you of that. He literally conned you guys out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He had to go to, he's still facing legal challenges over the fact that he conned you guys so that he could buy a fancy boat. But anyway, the con continues in a variety of different ways. Now, I gave all my thoughts about January 6th yesterday. So obviously I had a very different take than Steve Bannon, but that's what he's thinking. And I also just want to mention, Jackson, before you give your thoughts, Marjorie Greene also posted saying that I guess, sad thing is that people got locked up after they tried to overthrow the results of an election. And she was one of the first people to go visit those prisoners, who, when she's not visiting, she says are Antifa provocateurs. So there's mixed messages for a number of years from Marjorie Greene, a member of our audience from time to time there. But anyway, she described it as they protested an election on one day for a few hours. That's not remotely the case. Protested, they literally broke into the Capitol. They beat people to death. One of them died, was shot because they were World War Z-ing through the windows. They protested an election on one day for a few hours. See, a coup is only unacceptable if it drags on. If it takes 12 hours, 16 hours, then coups are unacceptable. But if you do it briefly, then there's no harm and also no foul. Jackson, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, you got to keep it demure. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it sophisticated and mindful. Exactly. Marjorie Greene, she also put out a tweet saying that January 6th should be a national federal holiday. Like, oh, okay, we can make that a federal holiday, but not election day. It's just there's just no principle whatsoever. I mean, but look, listen, like January 6th, when that happened, we were already so deeply desensitized to Donald Trump and just what we were going through. Like we had the pandemic, there was so much going on. But had that happened like 100 years ago, those people would have been put to death perhaps. Like countries, if you storm the Capitol in a country that isn't like as wealthy and developed as ours, you getting put to death over stuff like that. And they about to get pardoned. I mean, where nothing matters to these people. Yeah. Nothing matters. Donald Trump ran the worst campaign anyone has ever seen before. He might as well not have campaigned at all. Dude went around the country talking about Hannibal Lecter, talking about Arnold Palmer's junk, talking about on national television at the debate. He said Haitians are eating people's pets, and we still put this dude in office. Like, I mean, what? I don't even know how to be. I mean, I don't even know how to beat this guy in terms of like his base. Like, what are you gonna do to make his base care about anything? It's like the only margins that matter are the people who didn't show up to vote. Those 250,000 people, like those slim margins, or like maybe some of the people who voted for Obama and then voted for Trump. But man, so many people in this country are just like what the hell is going on? Like, what are you gonna say to them that matters? But yeah, no, January 6th, and I'm not like some super patriotic person. I appreciate my country, but I'm not like a Yankee or anything. But that was completely disgraceful. It was disgraceful. And the fact that we put this dude back in office is disgraceful. But hey, maybe it has to get, sometimes things have to get bad before they get better. I thought that, maybe after the pandemic, we wouldn't have had to see things get worse than that. But there's always a silver lining. And one of the things to me that's encouraging about studying history at all is you realize that humanity's kind of always in this position in some form or fashion. We're always our own greatest enemies. We always got something massive to overcome, and we gonna overcome this too. But now more than ever, I hope so. Exactly. But America's not the only big kid on the block anymore. We have a lot of competition, so we got to get smart. We can't just bully our way around anymore. It's not gonna work.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.